Hey there, this is part 2 of our video clips discussing how to write your resume and cover letter, and this one's going to focus specifically on resumes. So I brought mine up, not to brag on it. I don't care if you like it or not, but sometimes it's helpful to have something to look off of. So you're welcome to review mine, evaluate it as you wish, but if there's things in here that'll help you, absolutely beg, borrow, and steal any words or terminology or structure that you like. So obviously I'm getting old, as you can tell by the gray hair, and so I have a lot of things on my resume that perhaps you aren't going to have, and that's okay. So just use the structure. So as you notice up here in my heading, I have my name listed. I'm a very simple, straightforward, perhaps classical type of writer, so I don't have very fancy font. Not that I despise it or don't like it. It's just this is how I write. So again, my name bolded, very clear, along with my address, phone number, and personal email address listed here. Then I have my mission statement, or some will list it as objective, either one. So if you read mine, you can take time and do that. It specifically speaks to what I would be wishing to accomplish for the employer if I was applying for a job. I would highly suggest do not make your objective to get a job with your company or to get a job as a applicator or something like that. Obviously, you're applying for the job. That's the obvious thing. What do you want to do while you're there? How do you want to serve the company? Okay, what skills do you have that serve the company? So that's how you write your mission statement or objective. I encourage you, as you're doing this, write the rest of your resume. Leave space for your mission statement. Do it last. Okay. Next, I have my educational history. So notice I have the degree listed in bold, the institution next, and the year that I completed. Then if you need concentrations, that's something that I have listed because it would be important in my career path, in my profession. For you, that's probably not necessary. Okay. So that's up to you in terms of what to list. For now, I would probably just be putting your degree pathway, and specifically I would put because you're not complete at Kaskaskia College, when your expected completion is. Okay. Some employers want to know when you are available. So list it from most recent to the furthest away. So Kaskaskia College, and then whatever high school that you went to. The next section that I like is the employment section. So I always start mine with the time frame. So I began here in July of 2004. And then your formal position, and the company or business, and then the location. That's how I start all of mine. That's how I think most of them are done. Then, if you notice, each of these statements, each of these bullet points are things that I do. And specifically, as I mentioned in my previous video, start with an action word. These are not full sentences, so we're starting with a verb instead of a noun or something like that. So you start with a verb, and it does not have a period at the end. So these should be just quick statements. What you do: provide, develop, promote, advise, coordinate, connect, supervise, and lead. All say, if you don't read anything beyond that, it all speaks to things that I do. Okay, which is what employers are looking for. They're trying to hire doers, things that are going to help them be more profitable, make more money. Obviously, I need to do a little editing here because I've got an awkward page break right in this spot right here. And then you can go back and see a little bit of my employment history. And one could argue it might not be so important for me to leave some of these things on here at this point in time. You know, it was 25 years ago that I worked as a feed specialist, but just for argument's sake, that still resides on my resume. Jumping down to the bottom, I don't necessarily, clearly mine is written for teaching and stuff like that. So that's not a section that you would probably have. But activities and organizations, I think, is something that you should have. So I list almost everything that I am a member of or part of that I think might be important to an employer. And if there are dates attached to it, I have that on there as well. And then honors that are important. So I've got a number of things that I feel might be important if I were applying for a job to prove to an employer that I do stuff. So this is a section that I would spend a great deal of time developing, thinking about. But notice, format-wise, like all of my bullets are the same type of bullet. They're formatted exactly the same. They have the same indentation. Everything lines up and it appears very neat. So that's one example of my resume. Again, utilize whatever you wish. Let me pull up another one here. So this individual here, I tried to black out the name. Again, something that I really like how this former student completed. Very clean, very simple objective. Okay. Lists the education. One of the things that we talked about with this former student is put your degree on there. It's one thing that I would have added. And then they have GPA and class rank here. I don't think that's necessary, but that's something that they wanted to list, which is fine. But again, as you get here to the work experience stuff, very clean, okay? Very clean and utilizes exactly what I just talked about in mine. Action words at the start. These are not full sentences. A little bit different formatting than mine, a little bit different font, some variation from time to time. I like how she uses the border lines here in certain spots, which draws your eye to the different areas a little bit. So very, very cleanly formatted, and you see the references available upon request here at the bottom. All right. And then finally, we'll wrap up here and look at a different one. Notice the very different type of setup here. Has the objective here at the top again. And notice how they word their objective, how they're going to serve farmers in that conservation area in terms of what they would do for their clientele and the company therefore. Work experiences. This individual had a little bit of a less amount of job history, so they were able to push this into one smaller area, which is totally fine. They listed their experience separately, kind of a little bit upside down, and that's okay. So I prefer it the opposite direction, but this is how they wanted to list it. And then this one is really nice because it draws your attention to the honors and activities that this individual was very proud of and wanted to highlight. So we'll talk about cover letters later, but again, just some key themes to these resumes is very professional looking, very clean, very consistently formatted, very easy to read. And if you were trying to find keywords or key things, if you were evaluating the resume, you'd find them relatively easy on each of these three examples. So hopefully those are good helpers for whenever you go out and you're working on your resume assignment and cover letter activity to turn in for the midterm project here. And as always, if you have any questions, I am more than happy to help you, and I will be absolutely glad to review them and help edit them prior to your submission for grading. Hopefully these helped you out. We'll look forward to chatting with you soon.